Approval of the 7/30/2025 meeting minutes and 8/11/2025 special email meeting minutes. So I need a motion to approve those minutes. Second, I need a second.
Second.
Thank you. Easy. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Same sign. Okay, those approved. New business, we go on to 2026 meeting dates with CPO Fogle.
Yes, I'll go ahead and, share, everybody know we have Christina Murphy, I believe is the only one we have online on Zoom present today. And we also, is Amy out there, and Amy Belcher from Centerstone is also, being Zoom. And I did want to make an announcement, the last time, I think in July, at our July meeting, the statute changed in July 1st to have the meetings recorded or live streamed. And we did accomplish that, and it's our website. We are recording the meeting today to be posted here to be uploaded. So it's not a live stream, but it will be updated or uploaded today. So thank you. That being said, everybody should have received in their email packet, and there's some written copy packets here today that I'll propose the meeting dates for 2026. Again, they're essentially equivalent meetings, this is the same routine that we've kept with over the years, which is the last Wednesday of the month, January, April. So, I guess take any feedback or answer any questions, if anybody have any. If not, then I would entertain a motion, Chair.
A motion for the minutes for the 2026, 2026 meetings. But they be approved, I need a motion. Second,
Second.
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Yeah, we have our minutes, pizza, and, each place,
Thank you, and those meetings will be here, so we can do the same meeting work.
okay, go on to the SNA number, the record order, electronic monitoring, will you give forward, please?
Yes, thank you, Sheriff. This is our JRAC home detention report. It's our statute is officially approved by the JRAC team, which this quarterly report was already approved for informational purposes. If negative, that should be the hat, the packet you can see. I have no great data or changes, no concerns with this score. We had 36 on the end of the quarter. We have had several juveniles, I guess that's one thing. This last quarter, I think that would be a lot of the team reports. We've been able to utilize several juvenile post conviction and 2 pre-decisional supervisions. Does anybody have any questions about the report? And that is not Jeff.
Question? Yeah. Go ahead, let's hear from, 2025 third quarter pre-trial supervision.
Third quarter 2025, we did 94 pretrial assessments. Comparing that to the second quarter of the same year, we did 105, so it was down a little bit over the prior quarters. But when we look at quarter 3 of 2024, we did 76, so it was up almost 20 assessments over last year. We had 66 people placed on supervision. That is similar to the prior quarter. We had 68. But again, a significant increase over 2024 when we placed 5 people on internal supervision. Closed cases were similar to the prior quarters at 74. However, our current active supervision, so at the end of the first quarter, we had 165 people on active supervision. The third quarter of 2024, we had 131, so that's also a significant increase over the last years. The prior quarter we had 156, so it's up about 9. So we have seen an increase in the since last year in the people that we are assessing, people being placed on, and our current active supervision or pretrial supervision. Does anyone have any questions about that report? Oh, I did want to mention, I'm sorry, effective July 1st, there is a statute that now requires certain buying vendors to post monetary bond. So when it says pending release per condition of bond free, that's a new statistic that wasn't previously on there, and that's what that means. So there are 3 of those people that are being held pending the posting of monetary bond, and when they bond, they will actively report to us.
Any questions? Any questions, concerns? Brian, on detention and daily fee rate increase?
Right, thank you, Chair. We've been looking at our fee collections, what is called, not the regional fee collections, and fee corrections in the top, our program, the small areas, supplemental funding to staff, provision that it's awesome. Services, etc. As part of that, we have tagged on to a multi-county, I guess, study of surrounding folks and what they're currently charging. Unlike probation fees, which are stacked for with that, we have that $10 basic minimum fee on the commission. I don't think we can make any in that period of time, we continue to lose DOT money or not receive at work home. Cost of living increases, more funding for our salaries and every other expense that goes up, so we really, as good stewards of this fund, we've made a lot of changes over the years. This is another one that I think that is trying to implement. We have not filled a couple positions, and of course, the current that are funded directly out of project income. That by increasing our fees, which we have to pay these fees, we get invoices a bill on these charges, so it's not like if the vendor doesn't pay, we don't have to worry about it. We're getting charged for these supervision fees for violations. So that's another component of what we need to do to be good stewards of the money as well. But that being said, in doing a poll of really about 20 agencies that are similar size and similar location, the going rate is about $15 minimum per day, so the supervision fee. So that being said, at the last one judges meeting, that folks to the judges voted us to raise that fee to a minimum of $15. Our sober and alcohol unit is $10 a month, so we did not recommend changing that. This will be for our GPS supervision equipment from pension specific. And these are again minimum fees. We charge over that based on someone's hour rate. So if someone's making $25 an hour, charge them $25. Up to what's the ceiling of that? I mean, there's like $50. So that being said, does anybody have any questions? All over here.
So I have a motion from Jeff Williams to approve the second. Join second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right,
Thank you, everybody. We will implement that as soon as we get our forms in for good cases.
Randall, local, JRAC.
The local JRAC team continues to meet monthly this year. Next year it will be, we're gonna go down to bi-monthly. We did recently also conduct a SIM, or it's the sequential intercept mapping project. Sequential intercept model mapping project, September 9th and 10th at the library. We had over 50 service providers, judicial representatives, community members at that workshop, and we spent a day and a half mapping our local justice system, and then we also did an action planning exercise for gaps that were identified when we did the mapping project. So Brian and I just recently received, and Joni recently received a draft of the report that the state put together from that project. We do have some feedback for them on that report. So our plan is to provide that feedback, ask them to correct some things that are incorrect. And then we'll provide that to our local JRF team and then go from there. So, any questions about that?
Right, and that'll be something we provide to the whole pool of people in the community that attend that project. So we do have, all those steps to show mission. Data sheet to send, and correspond with everybody that participated in that, so I'll do that.
You know anything on it?
Yes.
No business listed, so we'll move on to the level of supervision report for the adult. Maybe correction being first.
For the adult community corrections, electronic monitoring, this also includes SoberLink, so it's home detention and SoberLink supervisions received, during this quarter 24. 50 active clients, on supervision. Below you can see, the, risk levels, you have high, moderate, low, and administrative. Total successful completions, 31 on this border. Total unsuccessful completions, 5. On there, you can see the reasons for successful completions, methamphetamine use, positive alcohol screening, marijuana, cocaine use, as well as new charges. Total probation cases supervised by community corrections officers, 29. Home detention applications processed, applications received 43, 34 processed. Eligible 12 and eligible 21. Below there, you can see the reasons for ineligibility. Documented evidence-based interventions, 15 sanctions, 145 incentives, 76 interventions. Staff is at a 9-to-1 ratio, meeting the 4-to-1 ratio. Interventions during the quarter were at 93%, with 74 higher moderate risk visits conducted with 69 interventions. With graduated sanctions, we're utilizing sanctions 3 times more than likely than violations. We're at 15-5. Community corrections random drug screens. We had 3 successful completions and 0 unsuccessful completions. Job seekers, we had 2 clients referred, 1 active and 1 was removed. MRT, clients referred, 1 active. Any questions or concerns? Yeah.
What causes the application not to be fully processed, the 43 applications, only 34 processed?
Pending urine drug screening, pending, request from a transfer county, those kind of things.
Alright, so that's not, they just didn't fill out paperwork, that's just they're still in progress.
Yeah, good question. Anything else?
Good. Your little community corrections.
It's good to be back. This is a quarterly report. We detained 5 males in Johnson County, 3 females over the border. No non-secure placements made. We had to unfortunately detain a 12-year-old. Was like the no trend, so our trend in the last few years is that our caseload has dropped, that our intensity of the issues we deal with have greatly increased. That 12-year-old could have been charged, I think, the prosecutor told me 53 felonies. One of the things he did was sneak to Indianapolis, stole a 4-wheeler out of someone's garage, got into Chase down 465, down 37 towards Mooresville, cut across the field, ended up in Creek Pioneer Park. So, anyway, long story short, parents were DCS, parents were criminals. 12-year-old was split with the grandparent and locked him in the closet and beat him. So he has, terrible traumatic childhood experiences, and no one would take him in the state. And he, would also mention he escaped at least 3 times from residential treatment like Daymar. And he tried to escape from Johnson County, but they caught him getting into the ceiling. But eventually we got him in Tennessee. Kid actually had a smile on his face when we did our review here last week, so fingers crossed, that if something doesn't change, we're in a world of hurt. These activities primarily were breaking into people's garages and homes, stealing motorcycles, golf carts, and side-by-sides. So that's the type of young people we're dealing with a lot. Regardless, 7 calls, result 14.5 hours outside of normal office hours. 4 juveniles were placed as a result of call for detention and/or crisis intervention. Cost of detention almost always is $21,600. I will mention Johnson County briefly, I believe about a year and a half ago, said they were going to increase our costs for detention, but they never have. I can almost guarantee you probably pay the lowest amount of secure detention in this state in a long shot. So one of these days, I anticipate they're gonna say, hey, it's going up to $275 a month or whatever, or a day, and that's pretty typical of most detention centers. But so far, we've had the same contract now, I believe, for 26 years with Johnson County, so they've been kind to us. Type of offenses detained, probation violations, of course, failure to appear, possession of methamphetamines, receptor. Actually, young ladies were detained for possession of methamphetamines this quarter. Unlawful possession of a syringe, theft, false information, non-theft, battery, with serious bodily injury, battery by means of a deadly weapon, criminal recklessness. And we received 23 new referrals from the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office this quarter. Prevention, I was off an extended period of time. So we've completed no prevention this quarter, did not meet our goal to the state, but we're aware of the situation. We are getting ready to have some brainstorming sessions and try to get a lot of prevention done between now and July 1st of this coming year. So probably should have some sort of report when we come back next time. We successfully converted 13 kids. That includes program of informal adjustments, referrals to other agencies, warnings, and then your traditional type deferrals. Our goals and outcome are measured the same for both diversion and intervention. So that would be formal probation and the programs I just mentioned. So risk reduction, average start score was 12, the end score was 9. Overall risk reduction points was 3. So a lot of these kids are on the high end of low, and we can reduce them down to, the moderate or the low end of the low risk. Evidence-based interventions, we met this quarter, we had an intervention rate of 80% of all appointments. Incentive sanctions, we nearly met, was 3.7 to 1, our ratio goes 4.1. So a couple more cases, we would have easily met that goal, a couple more interventions. Had 11 participants that were referred formal to court. And then outcomes repeat themselves. We had Dylan in the MRT program. We're still looking for candidates. But the biggest issue is the majority of the kids we have on probation are in very intense programs right now. So it's about patients, home-based services, because they need that level of services. And to put them in the MRT program would just be overwhelming. They're already meeting with therapists and things 3 to 4 times a week. So hopefully we'll get back where we have some really low risk kids and we can utilize that again. We had a total of 24 participants in the JFPC program. Guns remain a big theme in juvenile court. This quarter we had a young man that had a Glock switch on his gun. Was transferred here from Johnson County. And then he ended up, dealing with more guns after that. So that remains a pretty big concern in our county. I think a pretty big concern with the officers out on the street. And, we're trying to figure out solutions. Again, I think it's just a culture that we live in now. And kids think it's okay to carry guns. So with that, mental health cases, I think I said something random the other day, autism. About every other kid we deal with is on the spectrum right now. These are very, very difficult cases to address, because you have that really banded approach in these cases, we need to go after the root cause, just follow it here, so. Any questions?
Jeff, the juvenile you mentioned, the 12-year-old, that is extremely rare to be a 12-year-old have this well. And officially, because the carryover of Chin's involvement in that case, he's officially placed under the Chin, it's not the juvenile, which is right. But we had to basically triage that case for juvenile detention and find out what he was to be placed. And he was also the care home placement and they're still traveling across state lines.
Yes.
Even more of that stuff.
Yes.
Terrible case, hopefully he gets the corrections, but there was no place, even under the DCS system, place it stated. This is,
Any more questions? Comments? Okay, thank you very much. We'll move on to jail treatment. Oh, no, yeah, that's good. There you go. Yeah, Daniel's gonna take over. Dave's, they had a relative pass, he's at the female right now, so. That's what he's not good.
Our second client statistics, one female actively enrolled, she's high risk. Males enrolled 2, both high risk, total enrolled 3. Unsuccessful completions, 0. For the year, applications, 64, 32 returned, 32 not returned. Non-sentence still incarcerated, 35. For point of impact, females, 3. 4 not sentenced. Males enrolled 2, 4 not sentenced. Total enrolled 13. Total failures, 2 males. Does anyone have any questions or concerns concerning that data? I'll try.
My understanding is the grant is running out at the end of the year, and so therefore we're just kind of combining the two programs, RSAP and Point of Impact together, is that correct?
Yeah, essentially that was, it's divided into the fund in big state. So that was something that took to fill the pot after people felt like, yeah, it could go wide, so as the official state funded part of this, that being year, in terms of jail, and in partnership, I think was opiates out of families still, but we run more together, so that I don't think that line will definitely be separated as much as they come up. Now,
There was new overall criteria to enter the program going to change at all, so I know RSAP had specific criteria because of the grant, just county residency and so forth, but we're gonna broaden that a little bit because these numbers seem low. As far as.
that will be, I mean, Dave will, the jail commander, I think, will officially be tasked with making those decisions in conjunction with the sheriff. I can't answer that, but I would think that it would be more like POI, where, yeah, they'll take people pre-sentence, post-sentence, people, under the community, they're still eligible with priority to local residents. It's my understanding, I think that Centerstone will continue to partner. Centerstone is running the MRT group, and also doing life skills programming. The vendors on both sides of that, and then we're giving a couple of ways and more also part. I think that it's one of the maybe some minor changes. I think it'll be run more like the
And do we know, I know we have 2 judges here, so maybe they can answer with the POI, are we still going to actively encourage, or if there is no change modification of the programming, even where we are before? Like I know before, the first step, you had to be sentenced to 3 feet started, which was some treatment pre-sentencing. How does that play into potential modification out? Where they then decided to step.
Well, if we had some people in pre-trial, our staff, I already, that we've kind of treated the case by case basis, so. I mean, I think we've all decided if we do the program, we find it or not, and we would consider some sort of private modification would be different. So, we think it's me.
I understand that, it's just.
That may be,
Yeah, there's a chance.
There's-
Oh, yeah, there's a chance. I can't speak, I think for everybody who looked at those, have to be the same.
Right, but generally, it's like some kind of health.
Well, we have to potentially release. Seems like most of mine, up in the, less than 30 days from being done. They'll, with the sentence that want a probation violation on what we call the reverse RSAT, so they'll never sign up for it, they come in, because it's too much time. We wind up, at least I seem to wind up moving into the time that they can do the program, not a lot. But I'm just kidding. They get a little off, because they're the time certain. Yeah.
comments?
Putting them back on probation after the probation violation, or having been sitting in jail after the probation violation and the program. Doesn't really seem productive. If they have a lot of time.
Okay, last and not least, reading.
Well,
Oh,
I
go
don't
ahead.
know if this is the appropriate time to ask a question, but we were under jail treatment. And I read that this month, the Morgan County Jail is transitioning to remote only visitation here in October 2025. So I was just wondering if indeed this is the case, remote only visitation, your thoughts about, or if you're worried about whether this remote only visitation will reduce meaningful human contact and negatively impact the inmates' mental health and rehabilitation. Talked about that, discussed that previously. I apologize for bringing it up again, but I looked through the notes and the minutes and I haven't seen that discussed, and I was just reading that we were transitioning to the remote mode.
That's actually been for quite some time.
Has it?
Yeah, and they're all providing tablets, you do the remote, uh,
Have you seen any negative results from it? Have you collected any data to determine whether or not, I mean, with human contact, not being able to,
Well, if I could clarify, maybe the treatment is in person, it's just their familial visits that are virtual.
yes.
So the therapists, the Center Stone Bay come in person, they're all their treatments in person. Does, I don't know if that helps clarify.
Are you talking about the fan?
I'm talking about fans, the people that, the core of their life, people that care about, love them, and are gonna welcome them back into their life once they leave Morgan County Jail. Those are the relationships that, to me, would be, I mean, yes, treatment is valuable, but they need to know that someone's there that's gonna love them.
Yeah, you know, they can do that 24/7 with the tablets that they have there at jail, so they can meet with those folks in time, they can talk to them, and they can have what's called church, so they can text them anytime if they don't can speak them. But as far as in person, not in person meeting, because you're on the side of glass and talking on the telephone. And so you're pretty much doing this, that's, you know, doing this and each other, so it's, and to have some officers take them from their cell up to that location, meet them up, person has to make a appointment, be in there to meet with them, bring them out, so it's a lot more labor, some requires a lot more work than if they can just text or call them.
So there's not a time limit that they get to chat or communicate remotely, they don't have to pay, you have to pay.
They
20
can pay with
cents.
their love, and I can't recall,
And
there's a number of visits that they get free per month, with their family. And of course, all their visits with their, attorneys are free.
I was not thinking,
Yeah.
okay.
I think that's pretty, that's not pretty typical, it's very typical. For crazy size, for the, all of them, to safety, security.
There's a 180-degree opinion on the other side though about having, you know, the worth, the impact of someone coming, see, even though it is us, maybe not touching someone, but they're there in person. So, just reading on it for a while, I was like, wow, you know, I'm like, relationships are everything in whatever role we're in. So I was just thinking about how the relationships would be altered, especially if you have young children who don't use those devices, that, you know.
Well, they can use it as the parents, whatever. You know, children can use it like the parents is often. Any questions, anything else? Okay, we're going to the answer.
Reentry for the quarter, we have 1 active, 1 successful completion, 0 unsuccessful. 1 as a condition of probation, active, placed on reentry during this study. Evidence-based interventions, you have 4 incentives for interventions on high and moderate risk RSAP clients, intervention rate 100%. We are meeting we did not meet, this wrote that, we did not meet the 4-1, it was a 4-0. So, we did, yeah, there were no sanctions, yeah. Should have thought quickly through that. Indiana Earthquake Needs Assessment total risk reduction, down by 9 points. Random drug screening program, we had 0 this quarter in the random drug screening program. Any questions or concerns concerning that?
What's creating these numbers to be so low?
With the RSAP reentry numbers?
You know, it's lack of people that can go.
Yeah, I think time too has taken a factor as you spoke with POI clients. I think that's mostly what we've seen in those cases.
And this is only people coming out of RSAP, so if we look back at the RSAP statistics, there's only 3 people in there right now. So then they have to complete and have enough time to be reentry for us to file, so that's why. There are significant more people in POI, these are just people coming in.
Good question.
So the real down numbers are sad.
Yes.
What's the average length of time on the entry person when they come out of the RSAP and on reentry programming, how long are they typically taking that?
So we'll typically keep that on for at least 9 days, during the intensive portion, unless it's needed longer. But I mean, right now we have 1 that's on for 3 years, but it's pretty high level workspace. But other than that, I mean, we've had 2 weeks, we've had a couple months, it just varies.
That's in addition to also probation or.
Yes.
What we do is we just, whatever their limiting sentences and time spent incarcerated, is modify that to detention, so if they lost 3 or 4 years, then that's how long they now have on detention. We could initially do some separation afterwards, and we still have that. But Danielle meets with them, so when they first come out, we don't do intensive reentry services the whole 3 years. So what's the 90-day period where she meets with them weekly and they get a drug screen every week and all of that. And as long as everything's okay, it's just normal supervision after that for the rest of whatever the sentence is.
Have we run into any situations where a person doesn't qualify for potentially based on our local criteria?
We don't, so as far as like owing fees, we don't reject them for reentry if they owe past fees. As far as like filing under those people don't qualify for our side, so. So no, not general.
Further questions? Comments? No, we'll still provide essential reentry services, some essential of that program, we've been getting some state funding for what the drug screen program, we did that first 2 weeks of supervision.
all the internal programming and services are still available. I mean, it's no different than people who we can modify that department direction. Or the one contingent on otherwise, or straight sentence people. The department and supervising them by rest level, it's all the same, supervision program.
Okay. Anybody else have anything, board?
I don't believe so, thinking is January 28th.
January 28th, 2026, at noon. Have a motion to dismiss.
So the,
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you all for coming, we appreciate you very much.
thank you all for coming.
1 o'clock, stay dry, stay cool, no problem.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you.
I don't know, maybe go, also, I guess, must feel a little bit whatever, these speakers, the silver.